The Brian Gould Show features content from the internet and current events throughout the world. All photos, videos, names, and other content is for entertainment purposes only. Please don't fall asleep. It's rude.
Hey everybody, welcome to a new episode of the Brian Gould Show. I'm your host, Brian in the Tampa Bay Lightning jersey, Gould.
And your co-host, Joe. I told you the Lightning were going to win cool.
Win, that was an ass whipping, 6-2.
Yes, it was. You had us up until the second period.
Yeah, and then we fell asleep. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, we fell asleep.
Yeah, well, I fell asleep just about. What a horrible game. The ride there was awesome. Took the limo up to the game and took the limo back.
Finally got to meet my man Grim.
You did.
Way to go, Grim. Grim's the man.
The man. Well, there you go. For 30 days, that picture will be up on my Facebook
No, you said
profile.
30 years.
Yeah, no, I did not. Most definitely not.
It's funny. My son texted me and he said, "When will Brian learn?" And I said, "You're right." I said, the past couple years, the Lightning have been a better team than Detroit. It's not 5 years ago. I think within the last 2 years, we've grown pretty competitive with you guys.
Balanced that rivalry out pretty quick. I mean, the Wings put the boots to the Lightning earlier in the season, both home games in Detroit, and then we come down here and get manhandled here. So, heaven forbid if those two play each other in the playoffs, because the home team's going to win every one of those games.
Well, we knocked you out last year.
Yeah. You did it at home.
Yeah.
That's how you did it, too.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Alex, your son, texted me the next day after that Wings and Lightning game, and he said, finally, after 23 years, the Wings aren't going to make the playoffs, ha-ha. And I'm like, dude, there's 10 games to go, and we're 1 point out of the wild card. And we actually won last night, so we're back in the wild card. I mean, I don't like where we're sitting that 1 point out with 6 games to go now. That's not a real comfortable feeling for me, 7 games to go.
Now, last year, did you barely squeak in?
We were like this last year, and then all of a sudden, I think we won like our last 4 out of 5 games, and then just jumped right in there.
So, I mean, there is a possibility.
Oh, no, I'm very confident we're going to make it 24 years in a row.
Think so?
Absolutely, because we have the not pushover part of our schedule left, but there's not very many big teams that I'm worried about. I'm just worried about an early exit out of the first round.
Oh, man, the Panthers came in and kicked our butts 2 nights ago.
That team is for real. Yager's gotten like, he's like a cat with 9 lives. It's like
he's 48. He's 48 years old
and still can play.
Still play.
Phenomenal. I remember when he played on that Pittsburgh Penguins team back in 91, 92 when they had the back-to-back.
Man, that guy makes me look young.
Yeah. So big announcement. We'll stay on sports here for a minute. Chris Cyborg coming to the UFC. Signed, sealed, and delivered.
I've been looking forward to seeing that guy there.
Yeah. Taking on Leslie Smith. That'll be a good stepping stone.
Never heard of her.
Oh, yeah. She'll last all of probably 1 round, and then
for those of you that don't know Chris Cyborg or heard of her, picture a cyborg. She is a beast.
She has been talks to be rivaled with Ronda Rousey for the last several years, up until Rousey got beat. But there was talks that Cyborg would probably manhandle and destroy Ronda in the ring up until she lost this, her big fight against Holly Holm, and then Holm losing the title to Miesha Tate, and then now you're going to throw Cyborg in the mix. That division went from good to great.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited to see that those 4 really take turns.
They need it because right now the UFC, the heavyweight division's in turmoil. I can't tell you who the champion is right now.
No, I couldn't either.
So it's good to see the ladies getting the main spotlight.
Ladies grabbing the torch and just running with it.
Yeah.
The only way that this will backfire on Dana White is if Cyborg gets beat.
Yeah.
If she gets beat her first match in UFC, then forget it.
I don't think she will.
Hopefully not.
She can handle herself.
She should.
Kind of reminds me if China, the WWE wrestler back in her day, if she would enter UFC, she probably would have done okay. If she had any fighting skill, real fighting skill.
She definitely had the look.
She had the look. That's who Cyborg kind of reminds me of. She has that, just a look. She'll go out and whoop your ass.
It'll be pretty cool to see her take off in the UFC and really bulk up that division. I want to see a Cyborg Rousey fight. I want to see Cyborg and Holm after the way Holm destroyed Rousey. I want to see Holm versus Cyborg more than I do Rousey and Cyborg.
A couple months ago, I said, let's talk CM Punk for a second. Will we ever see CM Punk in a UFC fight?
I don't know.
I keep saying no. It was all publicity stunt, and the guy keeps getting hurt.
Well, he's in the new game.
Is he in the new game?
UFC 2. Yeah, he's in the new game.
Hasn't even fought one match in the UFC, and he's in the UFC game.
Yep, he's in
the
video game.
Put me in the MLB baseball game.
No kidding.
That's unreal.
Yep. He's in that video game.
Do we see Punk at Mania?
No. Punk wants to have nothing to do with the WWE ever again. Why do you think AJ retired?
I bet you that payday would be okay for him, though. I'm sure now he could probably use a payday.
There's probably not enough money on the planet that would convince him to go back to the WWE. Although Vince has extended his apology in hand and saying, "Hey, let's patch us up" several times.
Never say
never. But Punk just right now, not for a long time. I don't see.
He's hurt. He's not earning anything right now.
Yeah, but he's well off. He's making decent money.
He could still appear at Mania, just not do anything.
Not happening. Don't waste your time or energy with hope that that's going to happen.
I'm not saying I hope. I could care less about the guy, but
it's not
I think Vince needs something like that to put
we'll
to the seat.
We'll see Randy Savage at Mania before we'll see CM Punk at Mania. I'll just put it that way.
Savage is dead.
Exactly. So is Punk's career at WWE
and UFC.
Yeah. So over the weekend, I was flipping through some stuff on the internet and came across this article. North Carolina just passed a new law for driving.
I bet you I know what it is. You have to have a license.
No, the cops will now pull you over for absolute speeding. So if you're doing 5 miles over the speed limit, you'll get pulled over and cited for speeding.
They're saying the speed limit is the speed limit.
If it's 45, you better be doing 45, not 47.
We had this discussion 2 shows ago about speed limits.
Speed limits, yeah.
And you were telling me if I'm doing 5 miles over, you better get the heck over because I'm running you over.
But that's here in Florida. Now, North Carolina, that's not going to happen.
Whatever that speed limit is, that's what you better do.
You have to do it, yeah. And people, I guess, I don't know when the law passed, I don't remember, but people have been getting pulled over for as high as 3 miles over the speed limit.
Wow.
And getting cited for it.
And they could probably fight it and win it.
No, it's a new law, like absolute speed limit is the terminology that they're using.
I get it. The word limit means that's it.
That's as high as you're supposed to go.
That's as high as you go.
Yeah.
You've had your limit of beer. You can't have any more. Okay. You're doing the speed limit. That's as fast as we're allowing you to go.
Yeah, and if the way that you just worded that, if you think about it in general, it's the limit. Like that is the most.
That's the most you can do.
Right. So 70 on the interstate is the limit. But could you imagine getting pulled over doing 74, 75?
I'd be angry.
Or heck, doing 28 and a 25.
I'd be so angry.
Yep. So good luck, North Carolina.
You'll see a lot of tickets.
And I just see...
Are they hurting for money?
A money-hungry state at that point. Something's going on.
It's funny. I lived in Maryland at the time, and I had a Chevy IROC. And I'm going from Florida back to my home in Maryland. and I get pulled over in Georgia. And I wasn't speeding. I was in the right lane, and I wrote the judge and I said, I wasn't speeding, but I'm not coming all the way back to Georgia just to fight a ticket. They saw the out-of-state license plate, and they know they got you.
Mm-hmm.
What are you going to do? You're not going to drive 8 hours to fight a ticket.
Right.
They know they got you. It's all a racket.
Remember my stuff that I went through in Georgia. I was on my way back home to Michigan to watch Michigan-Ohio State football game, and I was keeping up with traffic. I had a semi-truck to my right and a car or pickup truck to my left, and I was in the center lane, and I was doing 78 and a 70, and went through this overpass, and I saw the sheriff's car on top, and kept going, just stayed in between the semi-truck and the car to my left, and maybe a minute down the road I see lights behind me, and I get pulled over for speeding. And he said he clocked me doing 82 and a 70, and I was like, there's just no way. And I was going too fast, and I actually did 4 hours in jail. He took me to jail.
You got your street cred up.
I went and sat in a holding facility for 4 hours till I posted bail.
I'm doing a show with a criminal.
Yeah, and that was really interesting because I had to go back, I think it was like 2 months later, to go to court, and I got put on 6 months probation. And living here in Sarasota, I was required to show up every Thursday
In Georgia.
to report to my probation officer and pay him $52
Wow.
each visit. And on top of it, the judge suspended my license in the state of Georgia for a year.
So you couldn't drive in Georgia.
Well,
either.
guess when I found that out?
When you drove in Georgia.
When I went to Georgia to that hearing, I drove myself, and I was like, he's like, I don't care what you do and where you're from, but you don't speed in my county. I'm putting you on probation for 6 months, and your license is suspended in the state of Georgia for a year. Get the hell out of my court.
Who did you get, Judge Judy? Holy cow.
And that car ride from that courthouse till I hit the Georgia-Florida border was so intense.
And you were doing 15 miles an hour coming home, weren't you?
And I was like, I tried to make sure that I was in the right-hand lane and made sure I had at least somebody behind me, another car, because if a cop got behind me and ran my plate, just because it was a Florida plate, I would have been going right back to jail. So Georgia is a very bad state. For those of you that have driven through there and gotten a ticket, it is a horrible state. And going back to that probation thing, like reporting, like you're saying, driving 8 hours to go back there, I called my probation officer as soon as I got back to town, and I said, look, I'm a small business owner. I had my cell phone stores at the time, and for me to close up shop one day to drive 8 hours there, I said, I don't really have anyone that can drive me because the judge suspended my license in your state for a year. What do I got to do to... And he's like...
Take the Greyhound.
No, he was really, really cool. He's like, the judge you got was an asshole. Don't worry about it. I hear this all the time. If you can pay most of your probation fine off within the next week or two, just call me on Thursdays to report and check in. And I was like, I'll give you my card right now and pay the whole thing. Like, I was like, whatever it takes. And he's like,
done with it.
Yeah. So after 5 or 6 weeks of calling in, he just told me, you're paid off, you're fine. I'll send you a finalization completion of probation letter when the 6 months is up. And I was like, thank you. So yeah, I got probation for that, and at least my probie officer was cool and was not trying to...
You are one tough criminal.
Yeah, no kidding.
Where's my wallet?
Yeah.
Got my wallet?
Fast driver, not pickpocket.
Wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So I went and took Mia to see Batman versus Superman on Saturday. We went Saturday. And on a 1 to 10, I'd give it a 7. For those of you that haven't seen it, I won't ruin it for you, but the hype that was put into Batman versus Superman for all these months was such a letdown actually seeing it, because the fight itself took 5 to maybe 7 minutes, I would think, between the two of them. And what the trailers let us believe as to them hating each other and that's why they're fighting is not the actual reason why they fight.
They were in the closet lovers, weren't they?
I was so let down by it, but it was cool to see Doomsday. It was cool to see Wonder Woman, and you do get the Justice League teaser in there too.
Who was in the Justice League?
It was Superman, Batman, Aquaman, Flash, Wonder Woman, and Cyborg.
So before, Cyborg. I thought Cyborg was in the UFC.
Yeah. Well, Cyborg came later in the comic world, but you get to see Wonder Woman, Cyborg, the Flash, and Aquaman teaser. I won't tell you how they incorporate it into the movie. Excuse me, but you do definitely can see that it's the launch pad.
They're starting to form
to get that going.
Okay.
You don't see. I don't want to put it out there.
No, don't.
No.
Now let me ask you this: on a scale from 1 to 10, how was Ben Affleck as Batman?
I thought he did great. I thought he did really well. But don't go into this movie thinking you're seeing a Batman versus Superman movie. That's the other thing that was kind of pissing me off, was Batman has his parts throughout the movie, Ben Affleck, but it's sequel to Man of Steel. This is a Superman movie that happens to have Batman in it. Exactly. So go into that with that mindset. Like the other Batman movies that had Christian Bale. You had Bane, you had the Joker, you had Two-Face in those other movies. It wasn't split time. It was Superman and Batman was in his movie. So take that to heart or into perspective when you go to see the movie. And another thing with Doomsday, for those of you that read the comics, sorry, spoiler alert, what did Doomsday do to Superman in the comics? That's how this movie ends. There you go. For those of you that didn't read those comics or hear about that,
my mouth is shut.
Yeah.
Because I learned tonight.
Yeah, I showed you.
And my mouth is shut.
Yeah. So, there you go.
Did you know that Ben Affleck also played Superman in a movie?
Yeah, actually I did know that.
So now he's played Batman and Superman.
And he's been Daredevil.
And he's going to be Wonder Woman next.
But
good movie.
It was a good movie, but what we've all been led to believe going into the movie was so misleading. It really was misleading. I thought you were going to see a knockout, drag-out slugfest for a better part of a half hour. Or if they had a confrontation, you see them fight once and then you see them fight a second time and come to terms, because eventually they do form the Justice League. But no, it was like one quick fight, 5 to 7 minutes. The way Batman preps to fight Superman's pretty awesome. But it definitely was not...
Did he do the wax on, wax off?
Oh, man,
deal?
he Affleck...
Or did he do the Mr. T pull-ups?
Okay, well, there you go. I'll give you that, too, then. He was training like Rocky in a segment for this movie, during the movie, to fight Superman. So it was pretty cool. And Ben's ripped, man. He really got in shape for this role.
He sparred with Matt Damon.
Yeah.
That's how he got so ripped.
Yeah. And Matt's a badass, too.
Now, this director who directed this, did he direct the other Batman movies, or different director, do you know?
Off the top of my head, I don't know. For some reason, I want to say it's a different director.
Because the last Batman movie I saw was, The Dark Knight Rises with Bane.
Okay, yeah, that trilogy. That's completely different director.
Going into that, I knew nothing about Bane. I knew nothing about any of that. Those characters.
Yeah, those characters are all from the comics, and unless you've actually taken the time to stop and flip through one and actually read a couple back in the... And that's all from the 90s, it really is. All this stuff that's being brought forward here in the 2010s. Everything we're seeing with the comics, or the superhero movies that we see now, is all from the comics from the 80s and 90s, mostly the 90s. Even like with Marvel, what they've got going on, that's all stuff from the 80s and 90s. And back in the day, Marvel and DC did do a crossover comic book, one book, where the Justice League fought the Avengers. Wow. And then they came together to take on a higher power, and they all lost.
Man, I don't know if I like crossover. They do all that crossover. It's like when the Simpsons crossed over and met, what was it, Futurama or...
Family Guy.
Family Guys.
That was weird.
They're crossing over too many things. Freddy versus Jason.
That was excellent.
No, it was.
I'm glad Jason whooped Freddy's ass too.
I'm a Freddy. I like Freddy.
I'm a Jason guy.
Freddy.
My kids love Jason. They do.
Yeah,
they do. Can we watch Jason?
Kill.
Yeah. Kill.
Yeah. Little Leo goes around saying that. Unreal. What else we got going on?
Well, let's wrap things up with we'll keep it a little bit shorter, not the typical 35-minute long video here, but WrestleMania is coming up this Sunday, live on the WWE Network.
Go Blues. Oh, wrong game.
Yeah. Let's see here. We've got let's do our match picks and see who's right and who's wrong.
Okay.
All right. We've got a ladder match here for the Intercontinental Championship. Owens defends his title against Sami Zayn, Dolph Ziggler, Zack Ryder, Sin Cara, The Miz, and Stardust. Who do you pick?
Who do you pick?
Well, after the name, let's see here, Kevin Owens, the only one on there
that's possibly going to win it would be Sami Zayn.
I like Ziggler, but I think Kevin Owens keeps it.
I agree with you.
The rest are all there just filling the match and they're hacks. Sorry.
I agree with you.
AJ Styles versus Chris Jericho.
AJ.
I'd like to see AJ win, and have Jericho put him over, but I got a weird feeling that Jericho wins.
Bullet Train. That's all I'm going to say.
Bullet Train.
Bullet Train. There's a group coming in called the Bullet Train. They're aligning with AJ, and I have a feeling.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm going AJ.
I'm going with AJ.
New Day versus the League of Nations.
I want to see New Day keep him because I'm kind of getting behind New Day now. I think they keep him.
Yeah, I think New Day keeps it too. The tag titles, that is, for those of you that don't know. The United States Championship, Kalisto defends it against Ryback.
I'm going upset. I'm going to say Ryback.
Is it an upset? I like Ryback.
I like Ryback too. Just about time they gave him another push with some title.
Divas Championship. Charlotte defends it against Becky Lynch and Sasha Banks in a triple threat.
I think. You know what? I'm going to go with a new champion. I think Sasha Banks wins it.
I'd like to see Sasha win it, but I don't think she'll get it at Mania. I think Charlotte keeps it. Shane McMahon versus The Undertaker in Hell in a Cell.
And if Undertaker loses, he's done. He has to retire, I think, is what the stipulation was. Where it was at his last Mania. It was one or the other. I can't remember. I knew they added a stipulation that if he lost, it was either his last Mania or he's done. He has to retire. I think that's what the stipulation was. I think you're going to see somebody interfere and help Shane win.
Okay, well then I'm going to have to agree with you on that. Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar in a street fight.
There is no way in hell they can put Ambrose over on Brock.
No, they shouldn't. I like Brock.
No.
And last but not least, the World Heavyweight Championship, Triple H versus Roman Reigns. Does Roman Reigns finally get his legit WrestleMania moment?
Yep.
I think so too. They kind of have to.
Yep.
That's to be expected. And then the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Andre wins it.
I don't know who the participants are. They usually wait till last minute to throw those names out there.
Anybody can win it.
Yeah. If Big Show's in it, maybe they give him a back-to-back run. I don't know.
I think you see a newcomer come in there maybe and win it. Whoever they're going to give a push. You might see Cesaro come back and win it. That's a possibility. It depends who's in it.
Sounds like the only one that we did not, or actually two
I
of
might
them.
go and get in it and win.
Yeah. You took Sasha in the Divas Championship match. I took Charlotte. And then the first match, the ladder match.
You picked Ziggler?
I took Kevin Owens to retain the title.
Yeah, I think I did too.
You said Zayn.
No, I said the only other person that I could see possibly winning would be Zayn.
But who do you like?
I think Owens keeps it.
Okay, so
we pretty much agree except for one.
Except for one. All right. Oh, wow, that's a first.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you for listening in. Make sure you go to BrianGouldshow.com. Check out all the cool stuff at the store. Also, all the old videos are there on demand, on the On Demand tab up at the top.
Eventbrite.
And I tweeted out, make sure you go to Twitter and or Facebook. We've got Fighting for a Cure 3 coming up. Really big name. We've got Animal, Road Warrior Animal.
Legion of Doom, Hall of Famer.
Coming to our event. It's for the American Cancer Society. We put on this wrestling show. But if it's something that you can't attend, you can still donate. You can find the link through Facebook, Twitter, or just do a Google search, FPW, Fighting for a Cure 3, or just Fighting for a Cure 3. You'll find it, and everything that you need to know is there, all the details.
He will be doing meet and greets and picture ops and signing autographs and
everything. We've got a really good event planned, and any way that you guys can help, whether it's $1, $2, just something, there's a donation button there, and it goes right to the American Cancer Society. So just want to put that out there. We'll talk about it more in weeks to come because the event date for that's August 13th. Want to give out a shout out to SRQ Tattoo, the show sponsor. They're going to be hooking me up here within the next couple days.
What kind of a tattoo are you getting?
I'm actually...
Oh, you're getting a lightning.
No. Grimm's hooking me up with a nice... might twist his arm into hooking me up with a sleeve. I'm thinking about some tribal sleeve thing.
You're not from a tribe.
Sure I am. I'm from the Gould tribe.
From the Gould tribe?
Yeah.
I got to get hooked up with my Superman tattoo.
See, and he'll hook you up. So check out SRQ Tattoo. They are on the website, BrianGouldshow.com. You click on the image there. It'll be on the right-hand side of the page. Takes you right to their page, and all the info you need to know is there on how to find them and get in touch with those guys. So go see Grimm and the boys. They do a phenomenal job. Excellent work. And tell them that Brian or Joe sent you, and they will hook you up with a really good deal on anything you want done. Anything from strawberries to rubber duckies to skull and crossbones. It's my little saying for them, but definitely check them out. Thank you guys for sponsoring the show.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you guys for listening. We will catch you next week. Have a good week, guys.
Peace.